Hi guys, Adam here as per usual. Apologies for the handheldness, it'll be a bit wonky. And what I thought I'd talk about this time around, this week, is, excuse me, I must drink. What I thought I'd talk about this week is about some of the arranging. And about a guy, Andrew Bell Music, a company, Andrew Bell Music. My friend Andrew, who runs that, about what he did for me and what he can do for you. And one by one I mapped the tracks out and something, and then I completely composed and wrote pretty much all of it in Sibelius, Sibelius 5 I'm using here. And the reason I chose to do it on sheet music was because of the orchestration. It's a lot easier than, say, Guitar Pro or using guitar tablature, etc. I've worked with Sibelius for about 4 or 5 years now, maybe longer actually, and I've composed all sorts on here, so I'm quite quick with it. I'm quite good with it. Yeah, so I decided to do that because it's easier for me this way, that I can read all the music and stuff like that rather than having to go between 2 different programs, etc, etc. Anyway, chose to do it on Sibelius for ease of use, basically. So here's the score. This is for the prelude, and this is the bit that you heard in Recording Diary 1, where it just comes in the about a minute and a half into the album or something, the guitars come in. So as you can see, I've mapped it, I've scored it all out in pretty clear detail, including dynamic markings, any slurs and legato and that kind of thing. And I composed it for vocals at the top, which there's none in this song, it's instrumental. Then I've got underneath the flutes, the oboes, the bassoons, the horns in F, which are French horns, the drum kit, and I've got the piano, and I have lead guitar and rhythm guitar left and right, acoustic guitar, because there's some acoustic on some of the tracks, 4-string bass guitar, standard electric bass, and I've got violin 1, violin 2, viola and violoncello section. So, I think a few people misunderstood when I said that Andrew did all the arranging and stuff for us. So, what he didn't do is he didn't write the music. I've written all this music, and then what I did was I sent the music to Andrew at Andrew Bell Music. Check in the description below for a link to his services and stuff. He's a great composer and stuff in his own right, fantastic arranger. Anyway, what he did was he arranged it. Now, arranging is different. I've composed, he arranged. So the main things he did really was stuff like doubling the flute lines with a piccolo an octave up, which is something I wouldn't really have thought about doing. Again, I'm not really an arranger. Some of the horn lines he's doubled with trombones and other brass. The cello, I think every time on the album on the cello's in, he's doubled that an octave down on the double bass as well, just to thicken it out and really give it some power. And he also programmed the orchestral part into, he also uses Sonar X1, I'm now on Sonar X2. He uses Sonar X1 and he programmed the orchestral parts in there. Again, that's something I could do, but he can do it better. He's a real expert at that, and he also has fantastic software. He has all the Vienna Symphonic libraries and Hollywood strings, Storm Drum, and loads of mental, like, expensive, amazing sound libraries that sadly I can't afford to use. Nor is my computer good enough to run them, to be fair. So then we open the same project in X2, right? So what he's done is, let me just, oh god, my arm's aching off this camera. Let me just try and zoom in here. I really need to invest in some screen capture software or something. So just focus there. So what he's done, so reverse piano is something I did. So we've got the piano parts, the pick flute, which is piccolo flute, normal flute parts, flute DXF, which is basically, it's another software patch. It stands for dynamic crossfade. I think he uses it for like more legato sounds and stuff. Oboe crossfade, bass clarinets, bassoon, horns crossfade, violins, Mercato, which he used for kind of shorter, stabbier bits. Standard violin sounds, viola legato part, viola, cello pizzicato, cello sound, double bass staccato, timpani. Okay, so we've got there like 18 instruments or something like that. So we take a look at something like the flute line I wrote. Yeah, so he programmed it in his kind of MIDI and everything, MIDI based, and then he exported each individual track as audio for me to import. So the flute line is exactly the same as what I wrote, and he just doubled it on the piccolo up an octave to give it some power and some air. Notice the difference? Yeah, it just adds a new dimension. Okay guys, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Andrew Bell Music is all about. He's fantastic at that. He's also a great composer in his own right, so check him out. Tell him I sent you, and he'll do you a discount probably. He'll do you a great deal. He's fantastic to work with. Pretty much, if you can imagine it in your head, he can do it. Alright guys, that's about it for this recording diary. I will see you next week, and we'll talk about something else. Take care.